To steal from the rich and give to the poor. In Kamiwaza Way of the Thief, you use stealth to burglarize or steal from wealthy people, but sometimes you have to fight to get out of a sticky situation. This game is a remastered version of the same game that was released for PlayStation 2 about 15 years ago. Apparently, it was deemed necessary to re-release the game, so what exactly are we getting? For those interested, Kamiwasa is now available for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and Steam. In this video, I discuss basic aspects of the game and whether it is worth buying. You play as a man named Ebitso, a former thief who now lives an honorable life. After his daughter falls ill, he sees no other way out but to start stealing again. He needs money for medicine and food. It's now a matter of maintaining a positive attitude, to be passionate about the right cause and help people in need. But the road is full of risks. To be seen as a simple thief who only makes life miserable for inhabitants of the village. It's a balancing act and one of the game's challenges, to not be revealed, but at the same time be able to get hold of all the riches. What I like is that the game's narrative goes well with the gameplay. There is a purpose to stealing. Either one can play one's memo, which can be seen as the main storyline, or you can do individual missions, which can have positive effects and improve your reputation among the citizens. It's actually pretty fun to play through the story. It contains several dramatic events, everything from escaping from a prison to dealing with various enemies. The regular missions are different from the main storyline. Most often they are done to raise money or gain a better reputation. Yeah, you can complete missions to make the villagers like you, but at the same time it's very important to bring in capital for medicines, food and equipment. If Susuna doesn't get medicine in time, she will die. Game over. So there is always a balance between playing the main storyline, getting money for medicine and being able to buy equipment for yourself. The missions are of varying nature and change the further into the game you go. It could be stealing fish, finding a lost wallet, or stealing an object in a building. It's actually fun to complete the missions and get paid. It feels like you're going through an evolution in the game, that you can buy better items, can buy new skills, or can afford medicines. Before I discuss items, I'll go over the main gameplay. This can be considered a stealth game. You sneak around buildings by crouching, hiding behind pillars or walls, all to prevent the enemies from spotting you. If you meet opponents on the street, or if they see you, you can do a maneuver called a cartwheel. Then you wheel past the enemy and they usually don't see you. But there are also other skills, for example support beam. This skill allows you to climb diagonally up certain walls. Quite useful in some situations, but at first you have few skills available. Instead, you have to unlock them by buying from a merchant, but it's not a normal currency you use. You pay with something called style points, which you get by sneaking past the enemy or wheeling past them. Certain skills must be used to complete some tasks, and therefore there is a relevance in buying new skills as time goes on. I don't really mind the style system and really just adds another dimension to the game. Instead of knowing everything from the beginning, you have to work to become stronger and better. Unfortunately, I think it feels a bit clumsy to stealth around. It's very easy to be spotted and sometimes it feels like the enemy can see through the walls. Even though you've found a good hiding place, you're discovered and forced to go into battle. And the fights are usually not that advanced. In principle, two attacks are used: punch and kick. Kick is used to kick the opponent into the air and make them fall to the ground. Punch is used to rob and make the enemy pass out. I don't think it is possible to kill. After a while, the enemy is always back on his feet. So much is about stealing, getting the enemies to the ground, and then getting out of there quickly. Combat isn't much fun and can tend towards button mashing. I've had fights where I punched over and over until my thumb got tired. Like there's almost no technique required. Just hit until you're done. The village you run around in is Edo, so the forerunner to today's Tokyo. The environments can be experienced in both daylight and night. During the day, most houses are open, which gives a greater opportunity to steal. At night, almost everything is closed and more guards are on patrol. I actually like the environments. They are experienced from a three-dimensional perspective, even though the camera has its limitations. It is possible to rotate the camera 360 degrees horizontally, but unfortunately it's not possible in a diagonal position, so you can basically never get a full view of the sky. It can also turn out to be problematic inside some houses where you need to see the roof. Well, it's not possible. There are many parts of Edo to explore. For example, Mikado Castle, Yasharagi Shrine, or even your home village, Kobore Village. It is thus a relatively large world that you run around in. In addition, there is an underground system that takes you between different houses. Running around here can prove useful if you want to avoid being seen, and also find items to sell. There is also a map in this game. It is good for learning all the roads and all the places that can be visited. Here you can also quickly teleport between your home and the thieves' hangout. It's also possible to buy new items. Two things in particular are very important to the game: one's bag and disguise. The bag is partly used as a weapon to shoot at the opponents, but mainly where you collect all your treasures. After the bag is full, you go to a merchant to exchange for money, but you have to watch out. If the bag becomes full and large, suspicion is raised among the villagers. This can cause the guards to start chasing you, which should be avoided. One's disguise is usually used when committing a crime and should not be used among ordinary people. However, if you are discovered for your crimes, your portrait appears on all the wanted signs in the city. This is extremely bad and can lead to guards occupying your house, so you can't give medicine to your daughter. Problematic and can lead to a game over. To get better masks and new bags, there is a special system. By donating money to a specific boss, a certain merchant gets new items for sale. So there is a big advantage in earning money, gifting to the boss, and then be able to buy the best items. Kamiwasa Way of the Thief is a game that works well on Nintendo Switch. The combination of stealth, combat, exploration, stealing, its narrative and character development make it a decently varied experience. Unfortunately, however, I think that it's sometimes quite clumsy to sneak around. It is very easy to be discovered and get into trouble, which means that you end up in fights a little too often instead of completing various missions in a smooth way. But the experience is also stable. Only once did the game crash, and there is an autosave feature, which means that you rarely have to replay very much. I also saw relatively few bugs, but on the other hand, some NPCs that behave strangely. For example, that they insist on going straight into walls. I almost never experienced the game suffering from frame rate issues, except for some animations where it felt like the game stopped for a few seconds. But overall, everything worked well. The game costs $40 in Nintendo's eShop, but in the usual spirit, NIS America also releases physical versions. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. I review new games every week. Have a nice day. See ya!